Virginia is for Grubbers. We are back again with another Old Fashioned Friday, and this week is my favorite episode of the year because we are recapping the top 5 Old Fashions for the entire 2023. If you just tuned into our channel and you enjoy bourbon, whiskey, and/or Old Fashioned or Old Fashioned riffs, we do a series every single Friday called Old Fashioned Friday where we review Old Fashions. If you're an Old Fashioned connoisseur or you enjoy a good cocktail, hit us with a follow, hit us with a subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. We review these Old Fashions off of 4 things: 0 to 3 on appearance, first sip, overall taste, and 0 through 1 on overall ambiance of the establishment. The maximum score that you can get is a full 10. Without further ado, let's jump into this. Coming in at number 5 is Neat Bourbon Bar and Bottle Shop, which is located in the heart of Louisville, Kentucky. As soon as I walked in Neat, the first thing that struck me was all of the different vintage whiskeys and bourbons that they had. They not only had a spectacular Old Fashioned at a great price point, I believe it was under $10, clarified ice, nice glass, nice ambiance, but they had probably the largest selection of vintage bourbons that I've ever seen. Not only can you try these vintage bourbons out inside of the bar along with enjoying an Old Fashioned, but you can go right next door and purchase vintage bottles. They have bourbons from the 60s, the 70s, all your favorite Pappies, all your favorite Buffalo Trace antique bottles. Neat Bourbon Bar and Bottle Shop got a 9.7. It was not only a spectacular Old Fashioned with a giant piece of nice clarified ice. When in Louisville, I highly recommend Neat. Coming in at number 5. Let's jump into number 4. Number 4 comes to you located right here in Tyson's Corner, Virginia, a brand new restaurant that actually just opened this month, Amateo. Amateo is a Tex-Mex restaurant with over 11,000 square feet of space. It's 2 stories with 2 huge bars inside. One, as soon as you walk in, you see it, and the other one upstairs in this beautifully decorated lounge, almost like a Vegas lounge type of setting once you head upstairs. Amateo is offering a tequila and corn-infused whiskey-based Old Fashioned. Probably the most unique Old Fashioned of the year, if not the entire 3.5 years that we've been shooting these. I actually did this episode with Davy Jones. Davy Jones actually gave this a rating of a 9.8 and I came in at a 9.65. Anytime I do a review with a fellow guest, I always combine the 2 scores to give you an average. Amateo came in at a 9.725. Needless to say, it's a beautiful place to go for a date night, a work meeting, or just a night out on the town. Coming in at number 3, we have Railbird Kitchen, located right here in Virginia, Alexandria to be specific, and Railbird is serving up a Japanese pine Old Fashioned. The presentation is chic, sexy, so is the ambiance. It's actually attached to a cocktail bar that actually made the top 5 last year, Captain Gregory's. If you're a fan of Japanese whiskey, you're definitely gonna love this Old Fashioned. I remember it being one of the smoothest OFs that I've had to date, along with having a very unique taste, compliments of the Japanese whiskey, which gives you a little bit more of a malt Scotch flavor as opposed to your typical bourbon or whiskey Old Fashioned. Railbird Kitchen came in at a 9.8. Doesn't get much higher than that. It's an incredible spot. Great cocktails, great food, and phenomenal customer service. Highly recommend Railbird in Alexandria, Virginia. Coming in at number 2, which is actually tied for number 1. So we actually have 2 number 1 placements this year. These are in no particular order as far as which one was better, but they got the exact same score. This is Watchill Proper. Watchill Proper, I think, was my favorite episode of the year for a lot of reasons. The gentleman that served us the Old Fashioned, his name was Chris, and mid-episode he jumped on camera and gave us one of the best one-liners about Old Fashions that I think I've heard to date. Chris said,
"The Old Fashioned is the standard by which you should judge any bar that you walk into for the first time.
Preach.
You walk into a bar and the Old Fashioned sucks,
yeah,
order a beer."
One of the reasons I say, even if you don't like Old Fashions, to hit us with a follow or subscribe, it's exactly why Chris said what he said. If you can make a really good Old Fashioned, you're going to make other really good cocktails. If you can't make a good Old Fashioned, chances are your other cocktails probably aren't that great, and you should maybe stick to a beer or a wine. Not only did we get hit with a gem of a one-liner by my man Chris right there, Watchill Proper is also home to the biggest American bourbon and whiskey selection in the entire country. Now, we have visited other bars and restaurants that have a bigger whiskey and bourbon selection than Watchill, but they have the largest selection of American bourbon and whiskey. They actually don't have any vodka, gin, tequila. It's solely American whiskey and bourbon only. They have over 1,800 plus bottles in stock right now. Not only 1,800 plus bottles, but if you just look at the menu, over 72 pages of different bourbon and whiskey. It's located in Louisville, Kentucky, but not your typical downtown Louisville. It's actually located out off in like a suburban area, very similar to One Loudon if you're a resident in Northern Virginia. It was not only one of the best Old Fashions, but you can see the presentation, very chic, very sexy, obviously huge piece of clarified ice, along with a nice little little orange peel attached to the clothespin. Just nice, chic, sexy. I remember this old fashioned along with the Thai of this year, both on that first sip, I knew right away that it was gonna be a full 3 on first sip. And whenever you use in clarified ice, it doesn't dilute the beverage a lot. Therefore, the consistency of the cocktail is gonna remain strong and your overall score is most likely gonna stay to the same as the first sip. If you don't have clarified ice and you're looking for the best clarified ice in the DMV, you can find that at stillice.com. They will hand deliver it to your restaurant or your home. Watchill proper got a 9.95, which is literally 0.5 points away from a full 10, which is close to as perfect as you're gonna get. Needless to say, Watchill proper is a phenomenal place. When in Louisville, please tell them Virginia's Grubbers sent you guys there. And last but certainly not least, the #1/ tied with #1/ tied with #2. We have 2 #1s, however you want to word it. And this one is also located in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. This is Entice. Entice is located inside of the Ritz-Carlton, which is attached to the biggest mall in Virginia. You can't miss it. Obviously, a lounge/restaurant being located inside of a Ritz-Carlton comes with beautiful ambiance, great detail, and just a comfortable setting. I saved this one for last because A, it was located in Virginia and our channel wants to highlight Virginia restaurant and bars, and B, because of the appearance. In the episode, I actually mentioned that I love the glass so much, I actually have a whole case of them for my home bar, and here we have an old fashioned with that in it. It's the same glass. Big, nice, you can see any of the details that are going on the inside. It's just right. Entice is not only local to Virginia, but it is also sourcing the rye that they use from Purcellville, Virginia at Catoctin Creek. That was made just for Entice, which they have a display of all of the bottles as soon as you walk into the restaurant. By getting your own bottles of bourbon that you're using for any particular cocktail, you're gonna set yourself apart from the rest of the competition, bars or restaurants throughout the space that you're located in. Entice tied Watchill proper at the #1 spot, coming in at a 9.95. And there you have it, the top 5 old fashions of 2023. Cheers, guys.